Hmm. So, do you? Yeah, we will going to discuss about it. Do you know what agile means? English definition. Hmm. Hmm. Right, right. So agile means you have to be in a you have to be in a very simple term. If I tell, you have to be like fluid. Wherever you are, you will take a shape of a jug, glass, or a pot or anything.
Okay.
So depending on your, in order to move quickly, whatever the scope of the project might change or anything. So you are, incorporate that in your agile environment, and you are come up with the solution very quickly. If you are failing fast, you are learning fast, and then you are completing that fast.
Yeah.
And agile, with respect to the software development, it means also a iterative or incremental development methodology, where you repeat similar kind of stuff again and again in a iterative manner, from 1 week to 4 week of a lifespan of a scrum methodology or any other methodology you will going to use. So that is called agile. So what it does, it focuses on user involvement through the team and workshop with the business analyst and developers. The rationale of agile methodology methods is minimize the risk by developing the applications in short time boxes called iterations. The iterations typically last 1 or 4 weeks. Each iteration is project its own uh, life cycle. Means
Right.
it has planning, requirement analysis, design, coding, testing, deployment, everything. So each iteration is isolated from one to another, and it is doing similar kind of rating pattern: planning, requirement analysis, design, coding, testing, deployment, everything. Frequently in front of sprint means, one sprint represent the iteration. At the end of each sprint, an increment of work is presented by the development team. In conclusion, agile models deliver the biggest and most comprehensive application system more quickly with small number of rules. Best practices are used that are easy to employ, which makes it good model for the environments that change the steadily. Uh, right. So this is the four agile methodology. One is Scrum. The second is extreme programming. The third one is dynamic system development methodology, and fourth one is lean software development methodology. So these are the terms usually followed by different teams. Some people follow extreme programming methodology, some don't. Some follow lean methodology, some don't. Some follow Scrum, some follow Kanban. Kanban is also the way you track all your work. It is similarly like waterfall, but it has an end-to-end solution. It is more applicable where you are doing a kind of a research and development kind of project, while Scrum
Okay,
is well
so
defined. Huh?
it is a proper model, right?
It's a methodology.
Or is it a software
It's a methodology.
methodology? Okay.
Kanban is a methodology. How you track your work.
And out of all the models that you discussed yesterday or even Friday, this one is the first one where we are actually dividing the entire project in smaller tasks or in smaller parts, right?
Right. Correct.
Otherwise, we did iterations like in Spiral as well. We are doing prototyping, right? Which is
Yeah, it's
not
a
the entire project.
huge partition. But
Yeah,
in
huge
Agile, we will
partition.
break it down into small things.
Okay,
So whenever you have project, you will going to first define epics. So epic is a representation of all functionality, and each functionality have a task, number of tasks, and number of subtasks. Based on that, you will going to break it down. Probably Scrum Master and Project Manager will going to break down, team lead and all, and it will break down into uh, sprint. So each sprint you will going to tag along with some of the bunch of tasks or subtasks and try to accomplish those tasks. And each task has some user story associated with that. Based on that, you will going to accomplish that. You means the team,
yeah,
right? So eventually, if you finish all your tasks and subtasks, ultimately you will going to finish a epic. If you finish a epic, that is a accomplishment of your functionality. If you complete all your functionality, ultimately you will going to complete the project,
project. Is
right?
it called Epic?
Epic. Yeah.
Epic. Okay.
So let's talk about all this agile methodology one by one. Scrum methodology. Scrum methodology is a member of agile family that inherit its iterative philosophy of development application in a short time of boxes iteration. It's called sprint.
Yeah.
Therefore, Scrum can be defined as an iterative incremental structure that is used in project management that focus on user involvement through the team and workshop with the business analyst and developers. The key principle of Scrum is it can accommodate requirement changes at any point of time of the project, allowing customers to change their mind about their need and what they want and what they need. So, agile is, the you can move quickly. So once you define it, you will going to accomplish that. And once it's required to do so, yes, we need to update something else. We don't require something like this. You will have the quick feedback. So based
Yeah.
on the feedback, you can accommodate those changes the next one.
Okay.
So that is the reason behind Scrum is very agile.
Quick feedback.
Yes, Scrum
Okay.
methodology bring all people to the same room, enable creation of self-organized team, and verbal communication take place across all team members. Discipline they are involving. So basically, whenever you are talking about sprint, it would be 1 week of iteration or 4 week of iteration. Between 1 and 4, anything it can be iterated, and it has an involvement of the entire team. When you are involving, you're starting your sprint, you will do a sprint planning, you will
Yeah.
do sprint grooming. So all those session requires everybody, whoever is a stakeholder for that particular work, they are involved in the meeting. and nobody dominate this meeting. Everybody decide mutually the all the decision they will going to make. It depend on their mutual understanding rather than somebody dominating any decision. So somebody says that this is a 3 points of work, this is 5 points of work. So everybody take a opinion and then decide what it's supposed to be,
Okay.
right?
And what is sprint grooming?
So in a
I had heard of planning, but grooming is new.
grooming is a session where you will going to groom all your team members. So sometimes what happen, you have 5 tasks to do in this sprint, but you don't have foreseen of the entire task from beginning to end. What you need to do, there is a description is there in the ticket, but it is not, you are not able to understand 100 percentage out of that description. So in a grooming session, you will going to discuss about all individual tasks which you don't understand. Talk with the project manager, talk with the team lead, talk with the architect, and try to understand what they want to accomplish. You means the developers what they want to do, right?
Mhm.
Because ultimately developers are not involved in any kind of epic meeting or task or anything like that, right? They are assigned to do the work, so they don't know
Yeah,
that what's going on
right.
sometimes. So grooming is necessary. If you groom really well your team members, they are able to perform really well in a very efficient and effective manners.
Right.
Scrum roles, chicken pig. Once upon a time there were friend, a pig and chicken, who decide to start their business. They open a restaurant. It was a time to create their own menu. So pig asked chicken what kind of food we serve. The chicken suggests, let me serve ham and eggs. The moral of the story is pig are the ones committed to the project in the scrum process because they are the one with their bacon on the line of performing the actual work to the project scrum master, the team, and the product owner. The chicken roll are not part of the actual scrum process but must be taken into account. They are the people whom the software is being built for: stakeholders, customer, and functional manager. Do you understand this?
Yeah. So the stakeholders, users, they are also involved, but they are in the process, but they are not the actual ones who will build it. The
they
actual
are
ones
they
who
are
will put the
they
efforts
they
are,
are a part of the process, but they are not involved in the scrum methodology or sprint process. Stakeholders,
yeah,
all stakeholders would be not there, customer would be not there, functional
yeah.
manager, they are not part of this. So who is the stakeholder? Who is the ownership of the sprint or scrum? Product owner, scrum master, scrum team. Scrum team involves uh, back-end developer, front-end developer, and UI UX developer, and DevOps people. Basically, technical person who develops all the things.
So is Scrum Master the same as Project Manager if you are following Scrum methodology?
No, they are not. And this is for the answer. Responsibility of maximizing the business value, right? Responsibility of facilitating the process related to the Scrum methodology. Whatever they are doing, his involvement is only focus on the Scrum, nothing else. How many ticket, who is assigned what who is working on what kind of work, whether he is completed, partially completed, 70 percentage, 60 percentage, whether they are able to complete. They means the developers are able to complete the work whatever they are assigned to for the particular sprint. whether they are able to complete that or not. Only one person in charge, he is the person who is in charge. Help build a self-organized teams. He is just a helper over there. Accept all reject work, accept or reject work. He will not going to accept or reject work. Help define
Yeah.
what work has been done. So he will going to define that what work has been done. So basically, he is the ownership of the entire product. He don't
Okay.
enforce the rule. Everybody is working on the same streamlined manner. Everybody committing something. Those kind of things lies under on Scrum Master shoulder. He is a servant of leader. He is not a leader. Knowledgeable,
Okay.
empowered, and engaged. Empowering the team, not or doing ordering or controlling. So his work is to empower the team, not able to focusing or able to tell that what it's supposed to be done. He will going to act on the bridge between the top of the management and the team. Sometimes project manager will not going to able to do the spring planning meeting or grooming session or sprint retrospective, right? Once the
Yeah.
sprint is completed, they will do a retrospective, and sometimes they will do a sprint demo as well if they have something to show. So depending on that, Scrum Master will going to actively participate in this role. And also in the day-to-day stand-up, Scrum Master will going to create the daily stand-up meeting for every sprint wherever they are doing so. So on daily stand-up, it is not that much, but it's lot of. So Scrum Master has to take care of the things, who is working on what and what is the status of all work. So he can ask the questions.
We can inform the project manager.
Yes, he has to keep all the work updated, right? If
Updated.
somebody
Yeah.
is working on something but not able to reflect all the work on the Scrum board, so he will going to tell that person, update your ticket wherever you are at. Can you please update so I can check the burnout chart or something at the middle of sprint? Usually people do so they can see the entire burnout and see the possibility of uh, forcing the possibility of the end of the sprint, where they are standing,
Okay.
right? Scrum artifact product backlog. A product backlog is a prioritized high level list. Based on that, you will going to take all the backlogs you have. You will going to take some backlog at the beginning of the sprint and you are able to work on that. Sprint backlog, whenever you will going to start a sprint, you have all the work in the backlog and you will carry forward the only work which you are working on currently. Once that particular work is go with all the reviews and everything and everybody approves it, you will going to grab one more work or ticket or subtask from sprint backlog for that particular timeline.
Yeah.
Sprint burn down chart. So burn down chart is with respect of whatever the point you have selected. Suppose there is a 50 point you have to do. So you are here on Monday, or this is today is Tuesday. So Tuesday, so you will going to start from today 50 points, and each day how much point you have accomplished a done work. And once that done work is completed, after end of the sprint, they will going to see the burn down chart. That's why it's called burn down, because you will going to burn down all the work and you will see the efficiency of the team.
Okay.
All the managers, stakeholders, high level people, they only see the burn down chart. They are interested
Okay.
to see in burn down chart. They don't interested in anything else. They
Whether
will
the work was
not
done or
go
not.
deep dive and what is the work and why it is not. accomplish, or why they are not able to make the commitment work or anything, right?
Yeah.
If you are doing that, then you have to complete it, right? Oh God.
Recording?
Yes, I don't know why it's still going on. Mhm. Third, the Scrum ceremonies meeting. We talked about it. What kind of ceremony or meeting we were going to do. The first is daily stand-up meeting, sprint planning meeting, sprint review meeting, sprint retrospective, sprint grooming session is also there, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. So how do you plan for the sprint as well? There is a whenever the sprint is starting, you have to foresee that how much work they want to include in the sprint at the sprint backlog. So we will going to talk about it. Preparation phase first. Preparation phase: project, customer, end user, stakeholder provide their input in the product owner, who is the voice of the customer and creates the business cases, scope, and high level requirement. The initial product backlog is created. Once you have the initial product backlog, based on that, you can take all the sprint backlog, otherwise, you are not able to. So, it has to be well planned. Prioritize, because depending on the business analyst, you will going, you work with any company and you will going to gather all the requirements and all. And once all the requirements is gathered, you will going to do so, right? So if we are not able to make a really good requirements planning, the concerned people, they are not able to reflect all the work into backlog. And if they are not able to reflect all the work into backlog, you will have a mismatch of requirement, and ultimately you will deliver wrong item or false item, so the project will sink. Prioritize product backlog. The owner will then prioritize the product backlog according to their importance of business item, and that add immediately into significant business value in the bubble up to the top. Create a sprint backlog whenever you will going to start a sprint meeting in held by the team. In this meeting, the product owner inform the team item in the product backlog they want to complete. So based on whatever they want to accomplish, they will going to roll over that work into the sprint, and it is called as a sprint backlog. Every day you will going to talk about in the daily stand up what is the status of all work. Based on that, scrum master will going to take care of all those things and try to understand all these things already accomplished, and try to finish whatever the things are remaining. Based on that, he will going to projectile that how much work is pending and how much the effort as a team they want to establish the entire thing. Product increment: every 30-day team should present potentially shipped product increment and provide the value of business. After a sprint is completed, the team demonstrates how to use a software. So basically a demo. Basically.
Yeah.
Now that the sprint is completed, the present and business, before start a new sprint, a new sprint retrospective meeting take place and continuously improve upcoming sprint. So the reason of sprint retrospective is to highlight whatever the mistake done by any individual or as a team, and how they can improvise that thing so they are not able to repeat those mistakes. So that is the reason behind that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about strength of Scrum. Scrum saves the project time, money, effort, and human resources because there are no time consuming wasting tasks. That team comes and does their job right away, right? Scrum is very useful for a large project where requirements are not very well understood. Like any other iterative agile method, it requires continuous feedback from the business so they can improvise. So it would be 1 to 4 weeks, between 1 and 4 weeks. Daily meetings allow measuring the individual productivity, which led to a improvisation and overall team productivity. So it is very crucial in the Scrum methodology. If you have 10 member within a team and two member is not working, you know, up to the mark, they, everybody will going to notice it. You cannot hide all the things. While working with waterfall, you cannot pinpoint anybody, because of you this project sinks. But with agile, you are able to. So that's why agile and scrum is a very very popular in terms of efficiency and effectiveness of the team development and any project development. Daily meetings allow measuring the individual productivity, which led to the improvisation over a team productivity. Daily meetings also help identify, resolve the issue well in advance. So if somebody is working, somebody is blocked by somebody else work, so he or she can tell that, because of work number 3, I am not able to accomplish my work. If there is
So,
a roadblock, they can.
yeah, so you said that here it is possible to find out the exact reason or even the exact person why things are not moving or why something is stopped, right? Is it compared to waterfall? Is it because we are able to do it because here we assign specific tasks to specific people? Is it
Yes,
because of that?
yes, because of that. With the Scrum methodology, all the task is assigned to an individual person rather than a team.
Okay,
So it's very microscopic.
based on that, like points, right?
Yes.
You are assigned something which is worth this many points, 3 points, 5, whatever it is.
Right, right. So it's supposed to be complete in a certain time frame, and point is also representation of effort and the timeline. Scrum
Okay.
is highly controlled process where its skeleton contain the frequent updating of the work progress through various meetings. Thus, there is a clear visibility of project development. It is very transparent as well. So, without weaknesses, there is not a single process or a person. Weaknesses are also there. Agile Scrum is one of the leading causing scope creep because of unlikely waterfall. The scope is not frozen, not baseline. There is no definite end of the date requirement gathering, which tempts to stakeholder to keep demanding new functionality. So what happened? We don't follow the waterfall methodology where you will going to start the requirement and where you have the end of the requirement. So because of that, there is a problem of occurring where there is a infinite number of requirement coming and coming and coming, and there is a not the entire see through of the project planning, the entire project planning. So lacking of that, people are getting exploit or take a advantage of each other because of this lacking of planning for the entire project. Works well only with the small teams. If you are working with a larger team, you're supposed to work with a different thing because daily stand up it will go more than 10 or 15 minutes. Then it is a time to move with something else. It only
Okay.
works with small teams. The risk of losing
Small
team
team.
members during the project can huge negative impact on the project development. Suppose there is a project and there are two developers within a team, and that is a very crucial because they are doing development. So one of them is leaving the team, so because of that, the entire team is crippled and they are not able to complete the project in a particular timeline. What else is extreme programming, right? Extreme programming
Yeah,
is where you will going to pair up with your team members, and uh, usually one team member with senior senior experience and the another with some kind of a rookie experience, and senior member will going to guide the person to develop some certain or achieve some certain goals. Dynamic system development, deployment, methodology. Uh, so development methodology dynamically, so it's quickly changing the requirement. There is a no scope of project has been defined. So it is very dynamically change the methodology where you will going to direct interacting with the user based on user feedback. You will going to develop some certain thing. So basically, some web development or some designing people will directly talk with the customer or the stakeholder, and they will going to decide a design over there. So it
yeah,
is really quickly, but it also have the that uh, drawback where a stakeholder, whatever they say at that time, they might going to change their statement or decision in probably next meeting or so, because if you don't give a person a time to think about some certain thing, they are not able to digest and give a correct answer. And lean methodology is a separate topic. It comes, it's entirely different topic. It doesn't contain in the book, but I can tell you what is software development lean methodology. Lean is stand for something. I know about it. So lean will going to work where you will going to work. You have some scope already decided, and there is a room of innovation you are doing and
okay,
working with. So you will create a pillar one is respect for people culture. So generate the culture. People do all the work. Your customer is whoever consume your work. Build a long-term partnership based on your trust. To change the culture, you have to change the organization. The second pillar is flow. Optimize the sustainable value delivery, build in quality, understand the exploit, and manage variables. Move from project to products. So move from project to product. So you will going to develop a product other than particular project. Innovative people. The third pillar is invention. Innovative people, time and space for the innovation. Go see ex- experimentation and get a feedback. People turn without a mercy or guilt. Innovation repeats. So you will going to do repetition and try to resolve the things with the innovation. The fourth one is relate uh, relentless improvement. The constant sense of danger. Optimize the whole problem solving culture. Reflect at milestone based innovative. improvement on fact. Whatever the fact you have, you will going to improve on that. So this is a lean methodology. The people hardly use it, but people use it in some bigger organization.
I think Scrum is the one which is mostly used.
Yes.
And Extreme is also like there's no proper planning in Extreme.
So extreme is basically you can pair up with your senior member or the person who knows something, what they want to accomplish, and you will do a pairing session with them. So you
Okay.
will going to develop a write a code, and ultimately you will going to develop a code, or whatever you are working on really quickly when you have a real time feedback.